Hello my friends, Walter here. We're in the railroad corner today, and I thought I'd just talk a little bit, reminisce maybe. Let's talk about some of the jobs I did on the railroad. I was a railway carman. My job was to inspect and repair rail cars, freight cars in particular. Anything to do with mechanical operations, getting them back on the tracks, repairing any mechanical defects was all under the carman's category. And there was always plenty to do. And a lot of jobs on the railroad, when the car needs repairs, they're sent to a shop. We had a shop right there in Atlanta called the Atlanta Rib Track. We had three or four tracks there lined up where we would roll the cars right through the shop and fix them one at a time. Anything from putting in wheels, repairing air brakes, fixing doors that were damaged or bent, safety appliances, handholds, ladders, steps, grab irons, anything in particular that was bent, airlines, train lines, a lot of small jobs. We did big jobs like replacing couplers, wheels, draft gears, welding and patching broke center seals, did a lot of riveting some years back on riveting front and rear stops in. There was a lot of jobs. I could go into more detail about some of the things we did on rail cars. But today's video, I thought I would just touch a little bit on road trips. Now, a road trip is when something goes wrong with a car out on the line of road somewhere. Well, somebody's got to go fix it, or at least check and see what's wrong with it when the train crew sets one out. That's a carman's job, and going to check it out is called, we referred to it as a road trip. We would pile our butt in a big old truck. If we needed a pair of wheels, we'd load them on the back, take them with us. Coupler, if we knew we were going to replace a broke coupler, we'd have a couple of couplers in the back of the truck. Knuckles, all kind of parts we carried. The truck would be so heavy with railroad parts sometimes that you couldn't stop it in a 10-acre field. So I could tell quite a few, in particular, road trip stories. Today I'll just touch on one or two in particular. But if any of you like my road trip stories, I could sure add a whole lot more. Let's see. One comes to mind. They told me one day to go to Rockmart, Georgia. I was working on the rib track then. I piled in the truck, and every other day one of the younger carmen would go with us. You pick out somebody to go to help you with this job, whoever's turn it was next. This particular day, a black man was going with me. His name was Clyde. I'm not going to use his last name. He got up in the truck, and I got in the truck, and it's a big truck now. We hauled it on down the road, got up there around Villarica, Georgia somewhere. It was a rainy day, somewhat like today. I had that old truck in the wind. I'm just smoking away on a cigarette, trucking down the road, and up in front of me, a black car stopped to turn left. It didn't dawn on me that he was stopped because he had no brake lights. I said, uh-oh. I put on the brakes, smashed that air brake pedal down to the floor. And it was slowing down, but that truck was loaded with wheels and couplers, and I knew I wasn't going to get stopped in time. So, well, I'm not going to run all over the back of this truck. And there was a wide place over on the right side of the road, but it was, like I said, it was raining, and water was, it wasn't a ditch, or it was just more of a flat area, a little bit of a gully there. I said, well, I'm going to hit him. I'm going to drive right out through that water. Well, I glanced over at Clyde. Now, Clyde was a black man. But at that particular time, he had dawned on him that we was in some kind of situation, and I had his full attention. He was watching everything going on. But all of a sudden, Clyde was whiter than me, and I'm kind of white. But I looked at him, and he was whiter than me. I could see he was, paying particular attention to what was going on. So right as we went by that truck, I moved over to the right so I wouldn't hit him. Hit that water that was about that deep. We had our windows down because it wasn't raining at the time. It had been raining. And water just splashed like everywhere. And I looked down out of the side of that truck. By them, I'm slowed down to about 20 miles an hour. And they had their windows rolled down. And I drowned the lady sitting there in the passenger side. I looked down at her as we went by, and water was just shooting right in the window with her. And I got stopped about 15 to 20 feet past him. I thought, well, I'm going to have to get out and have a fist fight with this guy because I know he's going to be mad. But he must have known his brake lights wasn't working. He went ahead and turned left and disappeared. I got thinking, heck, he might not even had a driver's license. He didn't stick around to file no report. And I told old Clyde, I said, Clyde, I didn't know black men could turn white, but you just proved me a liar. You done it. Anyway, I could share more of my road trip stories with you, and if any of you care to hear some of them, I'll be happy to share some of them with you. I appreciate you listening today. This is Walter in the Railroad Corner. Tune in out.